Oh boy.
Yeah, let the big dog hunt. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Philly Pulse, your city sports beat. I'm your host, Joe Staszak, along with my other two co-hosts. We have Micah Warren and we got Sean Lochner. Fellas, how you doing today?
It's cracking.
We're doing good,
Good
man.
to see you,
Sun's
buddy.
So
out.
fired up.
You
I
fired
know, so
up?
fired
As
up.
fired
Yeah,
up as you
right.
were pre-show? Because I'm
Uh
feeling it deflated. We good? I need to pump you guys up because here we
no,
go.
I mean,
Let's
can we
let's
go
get
through those
fired up
thoughts?
because I know it was 2 days ago, but Saquon Barkley, the cover of Madden. I'm starting to really appreciate how big that is for that young man. Number 26, it was the cover 26. And Barkley, that 14-yard little flat pass turned into an iconic moment, and it got bigger and bigger the more he did. What are your thoughts on Saquon? He actually insinuated it maybe after another big year, like it could be calling it a day, but I know that's just stuff that we like to bounce around. Your thoughts on Barkley making the cover?
First of all, I guess we should be worried because of the curse or something, which whatever. My thoughts on that play though, real quick. Did you guys have any issue with that play? There was something that happened in that play that always sticks in the back of my mind that bothered me.
Uh, I did a story on it. I watched it 100 times. I don't think I have an issue with the play, except it was dangerous. I wouldn't have done it.
Not even that. He got popped in the head at the end. That's what I always remember. He took a shot to the head. He got right up. It was fine.
Right, he did
But
get.
You know, it's
It's
funny.
dangerous. You're
I
putting
thought he
yourself
got.
in.
I saw the pop to the back. I didn't see the head.
yeah, he got a
Man.
shot to the head because his head snapped back, and I was like, please get up. I
Yeah.
spent a lot of 2024 saying, please get up,
Right.
with Saquon because he has had. I do that with Devontae Smith all the time too. He takes some shots for a
You
skinny
see him when
dude.
you have the shot of him coming into the stadium. I mean, his nickname's the Slim Reaper, but man, he is a twig,
He's tiny.
Yeah,
tiny,
Tiny. Yeah.
he's tough as nails.
tough as
Yeah.
nails. I remember
So,
Deshaun Jackson getting broken in half by Devontae Robinson. You remember that?
Dante
hmm
Robinson, yeah.
I thought he
Yeah.
was done forever, and I will always have respect for Deshaun Jackson for even putting a helmet on again.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. No, but
Yeah.
I think Saquon was kind of, I don't think he tried to do that. He was just all hyped up in the moment. He bounced off one guy, spun, and then I don't know. I would not have thought to jump over backwards.
That ain't something you think about. That
What's
just
that?
happens.
No.
That you don't. That's just. I have an idea.
Right. Here's a good idea. What do you think
I
of? They kind of make the defender. I wrote this in the story, kind of anonymous a little bit. They always call him the defender. I had to look him up a few times.
I
Jerry and Jones.
yeah.
What's wrong with getting? I mean, no one hit Bartman when he blew the game for the Cubs and 10 years ago. Like, why are we trying to not hang out Jory and Jones for getting beat by Saquon Barkley?
Well, there's the term posterized, which came about like
That's
25,
okay.
30 years. No. I'm just saying they're initially they called it the other guy on the poster because we all had those posters in our bedroom as
Of
growing
course we
up.
did.
And
yeah.
there's actually a great other guy in the I like to derail the conversation. I'm sorry. But that's what he's become, which it's not a bad thing. You're just the
It's
other
like
guy
the
on the
Billy
poster.
Ripken. It's like the
The
Billy
Billy
Ripken.
Ripken card. Do you know Michael Jordan wore three different jersey numbers in his NBA career, and most people don't know them. Obviously, 23, and then he wore 45 when he comes
45,
back.
right.
There was also a game against the Orlando Magic. He wore number 12. His jersey got stolen before the game, and
Oh, I do remember that.
there's a
Yes.
1991 Hoops basketball card of Sam Vincent and he's going up for a layup, and Jordan's at the bottom of the basketball card wearing a 12 jersey. They reissued, so that was an error card. You can find a
That
Sam
was a good
Vincent
pool,
Hoops
man.
error card because Jordan was wearing a number 12 jersey. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but that's what I bring to the table, guys.
Joe
I
reel
like
us
that.
back
I'll just
in.
tell my little story. When I was growing up in LA, the Flyers were in LA one night. Clark comes out in a number 36 jersey, skating around. This is in LA. The Kings are wearing it, and Clark was 16. Okay, file that away till 20 years later when I'm in college. My roommates down in Wayne, I walk in, I look up, and over their mantle is Bobby, and now I'm into jersey and everything. It's authentic, a 16 jersey. Freaking great. These guys don't follow hockey. It's Villanova. They're from Stamford, Connecticut or some shit. Oh, my sister used to work in the Forum in LA, and she stole his jersey one night. Yeah, he had to wear 36.
No
Six,
kidding.
I'm like,
No
I was so
way.
pissed. 20 years ago, that was the jersey. But yeah, I stole it. My sister stole it, so he wore 36 that night.
Well,
Anyway,
so
That
they tried
happened
to
with
buy it off of. They would.
that happened with Brett Hull one year when the Blues played in Philly. He had gotten his jersey stolen. And
Brett
I remember
Holden.
hearing about this on sports radio at the times. They found a guy in the area that had an authentic Brett Hull jersey that he was going to wear, but it didn't fit over the pads.
So speaking of jerseys, I guess for me to add into it, as we're talking about Saquon, as we're talking about jerseys, I can't help but wonder if Jeffrey is angry that Madden 26 is going to have that Kelly Green jersey on.
Good pull. I saw it last night. I was like, I meant to say something last night. That's a good pull because it looks great. The uniforms are
It's
good.
phenomenal. And
But
so it's going to be, the
But
hype.
everyone loves it.
Yeah.
everyone
It
except
was
the
never a
owner.
winning jersey, but it
I
was
know, but well, this year they wore it twice.
no, but I mean when that was the regular uniform,
Oh,
those were
sure.
teams
Well,
that those teams connected with the Philadelphia fan
Yeah,
base
they did.
sometimes more than the champions did.
They kind of did.
Those
People will go
defenses
back
with
and they will still
Randall with the
laud
black
the Buddy
shoes,
teams, the Randall teams. They're like, oh, those
uh,
teams are.
when they had
that
the
was the,
black tape in was it 1990 they had the black
yeah, that
tape.
was for the quarterback coach.
Doug Scoville.
Yeah, when he
Very
passed.
good,
Why do I
very
know that?
good. Yeah.
The black electric tape.
So
It was awesome.
so
Oh, I
Bobby,
know.
so Saquon got his OTAs kind of from what all indications, a lot of energy. They're still hungry. I know it's June.
Bryce Huff is
Let's
gone.
talk about Bryce Huff. That became, I know, Shauna, you did a whole thing on it. And I heard it became a real thing. And to me, I was like, he did nothing here. Why is everyone still talking about it? Did I miss something? Like, I'm not necessarily a news guy. Like 9/11 would have been like a third story reader for me. But but I mean, like Huff became like a real story, and everyone's they got rid of a potential superstar. Yeah, he did nothing here last year.
Potentials. Who said that?
I
On
felt
like
like
ESPN, like when they signed him last year, he was like this big time edge rusher coming over, played with Robert Saleh, had 10
Yeah.
sacks. I think he had 2.5 sacks last year and like 13 tackles.
And
with
I
a
missed
scratch in
one
the
and a half of them.
scratch in the Super Bowl. What did I miss there? Was he supposed to have Vic Fangio didn't like playing him? Why are we surprised he got traded?
I don't think we were surprised. I was more surprised where I just felt like the media and as well as the people, it was like, oh, Howie saved the day, Howie saved the day, Howie saved the day. Oh, great thinking. Oh, Howie noticed that he made a wrong decision and he saved it. But it's like you're still paying him. You're still paying him and you sent him to the 49ers. Yeah, it was a bad decision, but
Part of it. They took on.
Well, wait, are
yeah,
you guys not
sure.
cool with what Howie did? Like, what was his alternative? If
No, I'm fine with what Howie did. You read my article. I'm more concerned of, you know, as great as he is, and look, I'm not saying that he's terrible by any means. He's made mistakes like this before in the past. Now, is this going to be if the NFL is going to start to change the way that the salary cap is, he's going to have to start thinking a little bit harder when it comes to this.
wait, he hit on like 12 major moves and he missed on one. I mean, guys are going to miss.
He's missed on it.
He missed, yes, I know, but he's really hit on a lot of.
Sure, no, of course, no, I
Justin
get
Jefferson
it.
was inexcusable. Like he's really messed up a few. But don't other GMs have like major hits on their resumes too?
Ozzie Newsome was considered a god for
Right,
years. You don't
right.
think he blew a lot of draft picks, but in 1996 he got Ogden. He didn't listen to everyone that said take Lawrence Phillips. He took Ogden, and then later in the first round got Ray Lewis. Yes, fantastic.
Took Eddie Reed too. Yep, safety.
I mean, wasn't he there when they took Kyle Bowler in the first round
Yep.
also? I mean, come on. Everyone
Yeah.
has their misses.
Sure, but I guess my thing is that's $10 million that you're giving to the 49ers, that could have been $10 million to one of these players that you had to let go because you needed to save salary cap.
What would you have
So,
done? He made a mistake. I mean, he messed up.
It turned out not to be a huge deal. You had him for a year, and he came here with. If you want to say the mistake was thinking that he got 10 sacks in a part-time role. Okay, my only issue with losing him was you just lost two guys at the same position in Sweat
Right.
and Graham,
That's
so
right.
he should have had an opportunity for playing time, but we don't know. Fangio might be like, he's a dog, I don't want any parts of him.
But you know damn right well he's going to have like 10 sacks for the 40.
So?
You know he's going to play
He's in a
well.
different
What did
system.
Javon Hargrave
Again.
do? Javon Hargrave was okay for the Niners. I
He
didn't
wasn't
want
that
to
good.
lose him.
Yeah, I
Sure,
thought that
but
was a
look,
big.
I don't think it's going to be a big loss. Like, I'm not going to be like, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? Like, look, and again, I think J-
So you're
I think
down on
he's
Howie. You're saying you're down on Howie.
no, I'm not
Yeah,
down on
Sean, what's
Howie.
going on?
What's
Hey,
up?
Sean.
No.
He
Hey,
just won the
Sean.
second championship.
Do you liken the Bryce Huff signing to the Deshaun Watson move? Is
Oh
that
my
what you're
God, you
doing?
guys are making me sound like Joe DiGiulio now.
I'm
All right,
not
so
worried about the Huff
Mark
move.
that one. Mark that one.
I don't think we have to worry about Bryce. I mean, he comes back and he's like, Deacon Jones. I don't think that's going to happen. But I think Mike is right. Like we're worried because we did lose a couple guys, but think about those guys too. Their numbers got inflated because of what they did in the Super Bowl.
Right.
2.5 sacks for Sweat, and then what's his name? Milton had I think two and a half. But he ended up with 8, and the other guy ended up with 10.5. That's not
And
like
it happens every year. When
it
you
happens
win,
every year.
everyone
Your
wants
boy
your
in
players and
Cincinnati had
coaches.
17.5.
And you know what? Ray Didinger, I was watching him on a podcast. I guess it was right around the day of the tush push thing. And he had a good point. He always does. That's
Always
my
does.
Lord. That's my Lord and
He's
Savior, by the way, in case anyone's wondering.
he's the best.
And
Get
he
him
said
on.
this is a different position the Eagles have never been in before in their history. Whereas you're going, because even when they won in 2017, they really didn't go into 18 as the hunted.
Not at all.
The Eagles are going into this season as the number
They were
one
seven
team.
and nine when they went into the 18. They were 7-9.
Right.
Right. So they didn't, after the 17 Super Bowl, they didn't go into the season
Not at
as
all.
the
Not at
team to
all.
beat.
They
They
were
are
all good.
now.
They are now.
You
Big,
have an awful schedule, which is expected.
big time bullseye.
And you have the bullseye, and you're expected. I mean, I said it before. I thought even before the draft, I was like, even with the losses and before the draft, they could go battle with what they have right this second and be really good.
Okay, then let me ask you this because I'm noticing this. And it happens sometimes when a team blows up. Listen, we've seen fatigue, Chiefs fatigue. I get that. Patriots fatigue, blah, blah, blah. I don't think anyone has Eagles fatigue, but because of what they did leading up and because of the roster that became so epic and the just demolition of the Skins and the Chiefs, are they almost like, are they getting too big? Are they bigger than Jesus? With the Beatles walking out. Are
Yeah,
they, are they,
yeah.
are they?
Not yet, but I would
National,
welcome
the
it.
Eagles like,
I would love to be the team
I
everyone's
would
sick
love it
of.
too.
so you don't think they're like,
No,
No.
not yet.
everyone's like, oh, the friggin' Eagles, they're like the
Because
aristocrats of football, F them.
it's not just that the Chiefs won so much. Mahomes has already been to 5 Super Bowls in a relatively short career. That's a lot of Chiefs.
It's a lot of Chiefs.
Yeah.
That is a lot of Chiefs. Okay, I'm just checking. I'm not sure because you have the envy thing, and then you have the Eagles they're getting a lot of attention, which I like, and they haven't screwed it up yet. So I'm just wondering, they haven't. A lot of teams.
I do enjoy the attention. It's more stuff for me to watch. I don't know about you
I
guys,
love
and
it. I freaking love
Oh
it.
yeah.
this is a really probably unpopular theory, but I may have enjoyed the Monday after the Super Bowl more than the actual game. When it was just
What was great?
Eagles wall to wall,
Wall to
they pound.
wall.
I
Yeah.
was just like
There's
sitting
no
there with a smile on
pressure.
my face.
How he's getting hit with cans, beer cans. It was great.
Uh-huh.
Show
And
the
the whole
highlights again.
Oh, it's tremendous, tremendous. All right.
I saw a video, I guess what was it from? I think the Exciting Mics. And one guy was running through how they showed Jalen walking by the TV and looking up, and he noticed that the whole entire ESPN crew picked the Chiefs to win, and he did the whole okay, where it just turned around to see what that game became.
The game became pretty massive.
Yeah,
Let me ask
it
you, do you
just
think they'd be viewed a little differently if they won 27-23 instead of being up
Yeah.
34 nothing in the third quarter?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I do too.
yeah.
I mean, that was a no doubt about
It
it.
was leave no doubt. This
I
team was.
don't remember a championship game in my lifetime for as a Philly fan where the backups went in.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Or
Kenny Pickett's taking the final snaps out. Yeah.
I was just, I mean, it was for me, that
Weird.
was like a boy, like dream come true, where it's like my first Super Bowl that I ever remember clearly was the Bears versus the Patriots. And if you remember that game,
I had it
was
on
just a
VHS.
constant
Patriots
blowout.
led 3-0, by the way.
I taped off of a Walter Payton fumble. Does anyone remember the cornerback that had a touchdown, a pick six? His name was
Negative.
Reggie Phillips, and he was filling in for an injured Leslie Frazier, which is also an Eagles connection because he was later a coach with the Eagles.
That's right. He was a coach.
Huh?
Very good.
Oh, I watched sick day home from school. That and the one
Hmm.
after it, the Giants Broncos. I had because remember when you first got a VCR, you were like, "Oh my God, you
Bill
can tape
Yeah.
McConkey, he did
the
those
team
Oh,
flips.
absolutely. But
off of
yeah, I just
Navarro's head."
watching those games where it was like those blowouts. It was like, oh man, I hope someday the
They were
Eagles.
bad.
And it was like, oh, but I just hope they win a Super Bowl. And then when it happened, where we blew them out, it was just like, ah. Oh. But going into that game, Joe, if you remember, I was very confident. I knew
You
I
were.
had a feeling.
You
I was
were.
like, they're going to win this game.
Yeah.
It
It's
just
kind of
depended
like
on how
when
much. And if I remember, I think it was double digits. If I
You were
remember,
confident.
yeah.
I remember when the Broncos played the Seahawks in the New York City game, well, North Jersey game, and it was a blowout, and I heard a little bit younger generation like this game stunk. I said, you know what, that's what I grew up on, all those 80s Super Bowls. And people don't remember the biggest blowout was the Niners Broncos 55-10.
I
And a
remember it.
lot of people don't understand how pissed off Jimmy Johnson was at Leon Lett because they won 52-17 over the Bills.
Right.
If Leon Lett had scored, it would have been 59, which would have been the Super Bowl record. So
Record.
Jimmy Johnson was a little pissed about that extra because
And
he wanted the record for
And
point.
who knocked the ball out of his
That
hand?
was Don
Yeah, Don
Beebe.
Beebe,
There
come
you
on.
go.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
Don Beebe.
I never know.
Someone actually sent him a letter. He talked about this in one of those things about how proud the fan was that Don Beebe chased down Leon Lett. I'm like, okay,
Can we
good.
stop for that? Because I had this conversation with my cousins over in the garage mahal, which is my aunt's and uncle's garage out back, where it's kind of a guys' club of spewing nonsense.
Okay.
Um,
Joe, it sounds like I might need to pick you up and head up there.
Yeah, I think we might have to go there.
oh no, yeah, you guys are welcome. So,
Live show.
when any announcers say, "Oh, give credit because he didn't give up," or "Give these guys credit, they never gave up," you get credit for not quitting.
Right, you're getting paid like,
I'm so
thirty thousand
sick of
dollars a
that.
yard. Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree. But it was Leon Ledigan. Remember the Thanksgiving Day game in the snow where the kick got blocked and he goes runs down
Yeah,
against the Dolphins and
against
touches
the
it.
Dolphins. Stoyanovich was the kicker.
Kevin Williams had from Miami 2 touchdowns that game. Anyway.
Oh my God, with the Miami stuff.
All
He
right,
loves
any
his
other football
Miami.
we want to talk about? Joe, I wanted to, real quick because I know you cover the Bengals, and this came out again. It was too late. It was 3 in the morning. I'm watching Connor David, but they brought up Joe Burrow. It was kind of went back to your article, and they said, "Is Joe Burrow? Are they wasting his career in Cincinnati?" And I'm with you. That was your first line. I think yes. I think they are.
Don't bury the lead.
Right? For the exactly for them to sniff the playoffs for what they did defensively and Joe Burrow, look, he did champion the cause to get Jamar Chase signed. I don't know what they're waiting for on that. And now they have Kendrick, what's his name?
Trey
Trey
Hendrickson.
Hendrickson, 17 and a half sacks, 2 years. What are we doing in Cincinnati? Like they have no protection for Joe Burrow. He gets sacked like 9 times a game, and he
Uh-huh.
still, with what he did, almost put the team on his back. Went 9-8, almost took him to the playoffs.
He had almost 5,000 yards passing,
Almost
43
5,000 yards
touchdowns,
passing. What are they doing with
and
Joe
nine
Burrow?
interceptions. Jamar Chase won the Triple Crown. I think they lost 6 games in which they had scored 30 or more points. Like, this
Yeah,
can't happen. So now, but okay, you're getting back to the Bengals mismanagement. They are just so poor. So you have Hendrickson that you don't want to pay. Or Joe and Shaw, you could have paid him a year ago when he had 17 and a half sacks. Then he did it again. Now he's on the last year of his contract. He'll be 31 years old in December. So yeah, now maybe you don't want to, but you drafted Shamar Stewart in the first round, the edge rusher out of Texas A&M, and then this Demetrius Knight they took in the second round. Both of those guys aren't signed. Trey Hendrickson said he's willing to sit out games. That's always, I'll believe it when I see it.
right.
And the guys you brought in to replace him and to infuse the defense with young talent still aren't signed.
How were they in the Super Bowl 4 years ago?
I know it's almost like
Luck.
they're there in spite of themselves.
They almost won it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you guys, yeah, we all watch NFL on Sundays and you catch post-game clips and stuff. Joe Burrow looks like he wants someone to shoot him after those games.
He walked. Remember they left the game and he took the coach. He went into the hallway and auxiliary door to have a meeting before they got to the locker room. One of those games because most of them ended up like that. And of course, the Eagles go in and beat them. That was that was October. We still weren't sure what the Eagles were.
Yeah, that was a big game for the
Cooper
Eagles.
DeJean had that
Very
hit
big game.
Yeah.
around that. It was a really good game. But yeah, they have an elite quarterback. Like, forget about MVP's bullshit. I'm sorry, Lamar. Get him out of that conversation, please. Like Joe Burrow to me was the quarterback last year. But I know
Well,
how
Allen had 13 wins though. That's going to be tough. And
that's fine. But get Lamar out of there. Uh,
it's a regular season award, Joe.
well, you know, it shouldn't be a regular season award.
All right.
It should be the whole way. It should be. Why are we
Do
stopping
you
at
think
the end
they
of the regular
should
season?
it be the best? Should they change it where there's a
Yes,
MVP and then a quarterback, best quarterback?
something like that. It's an individual
I
award.
agree. I think it because it's always the MVP
Well, why do we
typically
stop
is
after
always
17 games? Why do we stop? Oh, because some teams don't advance. Well, that's the problem. That's the
How good
point,
were you? It's like
right?
you, if you
right.
how great were Dick Butkus and Gale Sayers?
Right.
All right, you're that great. Bears, I don't even think made the playoffs
Sure.
in their tenure.
Yeah.
He was so great. He only played for 6 years, but he got the knee injury. But yeah, I
He
mean,
played seven, but it was really five because the knee injury made the last 2 years of Gale Sayers'
I
career
watched Brian Piccolo. I think it was six.
total
I don't know.
seven.
It was seven.
Yeah, but the last two he didn't do anything because the knee injury. So he really played 5 years. This will get me shot at. Gale Sayers shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
I love
My
Brian
gosh, I
Piccolo.
hear the song from Brian's song
I
playing
like
in my
Yoda
I
head
never
Loving
saw
as
too.
that
we're
movie.
talking.
Get down,
Oh,
get down
really?
on your knee. Wait,
Had to
what did you
I
just
had to
As
say?
read the
much
book.
look,
I
What?
had to read the book.
I'm an NFL
You
junkie,
didn't
but I
see
don't
it?
like. I'm not a football movie person.
Oh,
I'm not a sports movie person
I'm
unless
not
it's.
either, but it was
Micah,
decent.
do you
Billy D.
cry?
Williams was decent.
Do you cry? Are you emotional,
I
Micah?
don't cry,
Yeah,
Becky.
every time I don't get my way. Um,
I'm emotional. I cry. It
I do. I
sucks.
cry all the time.
It sucks, man. I get emotional.
I don't care.
Oh, well, Brian's song, you gotta watch it.
I did tear up recently catching the end of Karate Kid.
Oh,
There's still I still get fired up. I
I get
do.
fired up. That's pretty cool. Wait, what's that? He's Daniel LaRusso is gonna fight, and he comes out. He's like, yeah, he's
I
like
mean, the
hobbling along
crane
knees.
kick might be the dumbest move in any martial arts in history. There's no, you're not going to do that in a bar.
sweep the
Uh,
leg.
Put him in a body bag, Johnny.
I love how the guys, his teammates who beat up on Johnny the whole movie, now they're like, "Oh, we got our ass kicked, but we're gonna root for our guy," and like nothing happened. Like Daniel LaRusso didn't kick the shit out of us. They're all like,
They
"That
didn't get their
cream puff,
comeuppance.
Johnny, yeah, give a body bag."
Out of commission.
You got a problem with that? Sorry. All
And
right,
then they revived it for like this Netflix thing, I guess.
Which did well. Which
Yeah, it
did
did.
well.
My ex-girlfriend's son was like a fiend
LaRusso
for
dealer,
it.
you got a nice
Yeah.
dealership out there on Sunset
See
Boulevard.
that? You can
LaRusso, yeah.
see.
It's a buzz.
Meanwhile, you didn't even let me pitch my thought to Sam.
What do you got?
Jeez. No, I'm kidding.
What do you got?
And
You got
he
something?
still wants pitch
No.
meetings.
Yeah, pitch meetings, please.
All right, we'll switch to baseball. The Phillies rocked the Blue Jays last night. Good night. Couple home runs in the first inning. Alec Boehm with the 6 bounce throw to first. Tremendous play. I was waiting for your phone to blow up or something. You were going to cry.
Well, I'm trying to
time.
leave you be. I mean, there's been a couple times that I've texted and you don't respond, so I'm just like, all right, he's probably getting a massage or something.
Yeah,
I don't want to ruin anything, you know.
Well,
wanna...
Sean did put on Facebook today, I think Joe's ghosting me.
I did. I did.
What are you going to do? You know,
Yeah.
I got a lot of responsibilities here. No, but he was off the hook last night, Alec Boehm. He's not like last year when you texted me every RBI he had, but he's playing ball this year.
He went. You're such a dick. He went 4 for 5 last
He
night.
was good.
Yeah. So, and that he didn't look upset. He's been playing good ball, and the offense keeps rolling. And that play, it was funny how it just went boop, 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 boop. Like I was waiting. It was like a skipping rock.
You're going to get there in time. It was great.
But you got to give him credit. His ability to play third base. I mean, when he first came up,
He had to work at it. Yeah.
and he did. You give it to him. I mean, he's played an outstanding defensive third baseman. So yeah, I mean, it was funny. There was the people we heard.
People have to say about it.
Well, no, what I was getting at was, the kind of after the Brewers series, some of the players came out and said, well, we don't have our big guy here. Harper's out of the lineup. And a lot of people were like, oh, is it really that important? You go to Toronto, I think it was very important at the
Was that
time to
important
get
as a
out of
big guy?
Dodge when
I
we
would
got
think
out of
so.
Dodge.
It
But
changes the whole lineup, but when you're
Totally
losing
changes.
absolutely.
when you're losing 17-7 and 5 of those were junk runs in the ninth,
Right.
it ain't one guy.
Right. But no, for sure. Exactly. But I mean, he comes back in the lineup last night, immediately gets a home run. What did they score? No, they 11 batters up to the plate in the first inning, and they scored
It's a
six
nice
runs.
first inning.
Yeah, it was a
You would
great
And
say
that
first
lets
inning.
Sanchez kind of be like, all right, I can just go throw
Mhm.
now.
been a deal.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, he's been underrated this year. There's been a lot of talk from the people out there. What do you do with the bullpen? Where do you go? You you have Sanchez. Do you put him into the bullpen, or do you mix things up and put my God, I'm drawing a blank. Help me out, guys. The other left-hander.
Suarez,
Thank you.
Sanchez.
Yeah, I was about to say Sanchez
Well, I
again,
think it
but
depends a lot on,
Suarez.
and we'll bring it back to tonight. I think a lot comes on what if Abel goes out there and chucks it again.
I
Yeah.
feel bad for Paul Skinner. I think last night he had another 8 inning 1 run game and like law. Like Paul
Well,
Skinner.
Spencer Strider. Strider had a horrible. I mean, he hasn't been pitching well either. I mean, last night he gave up several runs to
I
start
know it
off.
doesn't
So
matter right now because we've gone over this, but the Braves are
right.
in fourth place right now.
I love it.
And they
Behind
brought
the
back their old former manager now as the third base coach.
You know what
You
does
that?
matter? Because I'm going to switch gears a little bit.
What's that?
What do you think of the guy who took over the night show at 97.5 The Fanatic? His name is Bill. He's kind of with your people. Tell us about Bill. He was with Mike. He's now kind of branched off. Let's talk a little bit about 97.5.
Yeah. So the news that just came out, what was it, yesterday? Bill Colarulo is moving up to the afternoon shift. It's going to be called Unfiltered with Ricky Battalica.
You're a big fan.
Ricky Battalico.
You're a big fan of him.
I'm a huge fan of Bill. I thought Bill. So obviously, a couple months ago, Mike came back. What was it, in August, I think?
Yeah,
And yeah, so Bill was his little sidekick, and then Ray Dunn, his producer. They were great together. I thought I would listen to Bill on the weekends, and
So why would
his
you break
insight.
up a good team to then have the parts of the whole? You know what I mean? Like
Well,
now you
that's just
have.
it. I I don't know. It's interesting to me where again I'm not taking anything away from Bill, because obviously what I'm doing with you guys, I hope.
You were ripping him in pre-show. Let's go. Come
Oh,
on,
get the hell out of here! You're full of shit, dude. He's not ripping them at all. I think it's amazing how he was a lawyer and decided to get out and bet it on himself, and 2 years later
Just to
he's
get the
got the
opportunity is
afternoon
pretty
drive.
big. Like
he went the Mike
it's
Florio.
huge.
He went the Mike Florio route.
I mean, look, there's
wait,
no.
wait, we got an edge to fry with Mike Florio up here, upper left. What do we got with Mike Florio up here?
Oh, I like Florio. I've actually been talking to him a
I
little
like
bit over the
Florio.
last few years. But yeah, he
I
was
like him too.
he started PFT while he was an attorney, and
Mm-hmm.
once in a while he would make comments on a post like, "I'll get to this if it was urgent. I'll get to this when I get back from the law firm."
Yeah.
Like I found PFT back in like oh 06 when he was just getting going. That was his side hustle.
Mm-hmm.
How did he get Phil Simms in the mix?
Well, so he
Chris Simms.
started his first major ad, I think, was Adam Archuleta's book, like Freak of
I have his
Training or
jersey. I
something
do
like
have
that.
Adam Marcello's jersey.
And then he just kept growing it until somebody like NBC, all of a sudden these major media networks, and I know this as my history of 25 years being a publicist, these major networks started to notice that because blogs used to get laughed at. It was like, oh, it's some blog or it's some. Well, guess what? A lot of people are reading those blogs. And the major media networks had to jump on it, and NBC was very wise to identify PFT and
Mm-hmm.
absorbed him. And I don't know what the deal was, but Florio still maintains
He's
editorial
good. He is good.
control.
He's good. I like
And
him with Chris Sims.
I do
I
I'm
don't
a
have a problem with
huge
it
I'm a
too, though.
huge Florio fan.
I
Yeah,
don't mind
same.
Chris Simms. Just because he says things that people don't like, it's fine. But buttoning the
Oh,
top button's a little annoying, but
hey,
he,
that was cool. I used to do that back, I would say, like 2012.
I didn't do the
Matter of
top
fact, I
button.
pulled out a polo the other day and did it for shits and giggles, and I was like, I still
He-
got it, but
But
I'm
that
not
could
going
be a
to
little
do it.
different. Like that's okay. But like he wears like the button ups, like it's almost forced sometimes. Like
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I have, Micah, I have been known to send pictures of Chris Sims dressed, his attire to Joe and be like,
Instead,
"What the
we
hell was he
evaluate
thinking?"
his sartorial aspect sometimes
This
on
is
the show.
before you came. I would have Joan Rivers,
We
moments.
did. We did have
But
a,
you
I
know
would
you're
be
still
like,
on
"Oh
air,
my
right,
God,
Sean?
Joe, what is she
We're
wearing?"
Hey,
Can
Sean,
someone
we're
kill his
recording
mic?
this
Who's
right
Yeah,
trying
now.
to
no, we
kill his
are.
mic?
I
Yes,
know.
I mean, I'm just, it's fine. You can say whatever you want. It's free country. But I mean, I'm just letting you, I just wanted to give you a reminder that you're talking about
Did they
sending
have
pictures.
did they, oh, let's cut to the, did they have any shot? Because it doesn't seem like they had. Kevin Kincaid wrote an article a few months ago, which was good, pretty extensive, exhaustive about everyone who's gone through the
Mhm.
process of Beasley. They're just throwing stuff at the wall and trying to compete with WIP, who's just kind of rolling folks. What are your thoughts on listening to IP versus 97.5 Fanatic?
So I don't know if it's because I'm rooting for the little guy. I don't. The only time I listen to WIP is on the weekends. I
Really? I
listen.
listen to them almost exclusively now. I don't
No, not
know
me.
anyone.
Not at all. I mean, I'll listen to the at nighttime sometimes. Um, gosh, when I did not like the best show ever. So there was sometimes that I would listen to the afternoon show at WIP, but in most cases I was listening to podcasts or whatever. Um, I I really really like the lineups at the Fanatic. I always have. I like Kincaid and Saltunis. I'm a huge fan of Mike. I thought Mike and Bill was probably the best duo since him and Steve.
That's a
I
long
loved
time ago. So let me
a
ask you,
very long time
Michael, let me
ago.
ask you, because of what? Because of how Beasley attacks their game plan and attacks like their positioning, what they're doing with shows from down in Naples, Florida. Some of your favorites go by the wayside. They get mixed and matched. It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of rhyme or reason every 3 months. They're pulling the trigger. How does that make you feel about them as a station serving you as a listener?
I've never been, I used to listen to WS 97.5, usually when I knew you were on or Jason was on, Ashworth.
That's for sure.
Other than that, didn't really, I've always been a WIP person. Now, WIP has kind of turned into, I don't know. I still have I love Ike Reese. But that afternoon show, Jack Fritz is the young one coming up that I think has is going to be really good. I like him a
Yeah,
lot.
I like him too.
But the afternoon show has really turned into the inmates running the asylum, where
Mhm.
it's
Right,
the same callers. They branded the callers, and it's the
right.
Yeah.
same people calling up, and it almost makes you feel like they have a club and you're not in the club. I don't feel like I'm in the club that wants to hear Rios or whether it was Black Gritty or somebody calling up and they're screaming, and now it's Dallas.
Hmm.
Now I get they're not catering to me personally. My demographic, sure. Me personally, no. I don't need Dallas Week to be like, call us and tell us about that cowboy moment you hated. I
Yeah.
don't need Eagles chants on the radio. I was excited again the Monday after the Super Bowl. I had to run out to the store, and I was
Right.
like, "This is awesome! I'm going to turn on WIP. This is going to be great." Well, they went to the evening show that was like at a Chicky and Pete's Monday Night Remote, whatever, and they started it with like the whole Chicky and Pete singing "Fly Eagles Fly." I don't care.
Right.
Right.
I
I
don't need
don't want
that.
to hear the
I
Right.
singing and
agree.
stuff.
Right. And that's where like with Kincaid, I like that they don't have as many callers as WIP does on their morning show. Now, Mike, obviously, he has more callers, and for a while, their telephones were like their board was fried, so they couldn't get any calls, and people thought it was a hoax that was the way that they were trying to go, where there was no calls anymore. And Mike emphasized, like, no, no, it's really true. We need a new board. They got it, and
That does not look good.
no,
We
at
don't have the
all.
technical
At
ability to take
all.
a phone
Exactly,
call.
right? So it's just like, so again, I asked myself, do we really need two sports stations here in Philadelphia? Clearly, if we say no, then I'm screwed because the one that I love would leave. I don't understand the direction that they're going, and I've made ideas. I've pitched ideas to you and Micah
I
and
don't think
Joe of
the direction is this. I mean, look.
sure, but it's
Odyssey was bankrupt, and they're still hanging in there while Beasley was, turning a profit.
so they're pretty much is what you're telling me is they're okay being like the stepbrother
Yeah,
of the
they
city.
don't care about the ring; they
Sure.
care about the bottom
Now,
line.
I don't know how you guys feel about this, but if I'm Beasley and I'm not, I'm the second tier here, I don't know that I'm renewing Flyers and Sixers contracts. I
Good point.
don't think, to me, if I want sports, this is what I didn't like when I lived up in North Jersey by Manhattan. And they supported two stations, obviously, but there's nine teams on any given night. Somebody's playing. I just want sports talk, and I have to listen to the Islanders and the Rangers on the radio.
That's a good
Right.
point. There are times
Right.
where I don't want to hear that because their Flyers are 19 games out, and I
Yeah.
just want to hear about the Eagles or something.
And
And I
pre and
listen to
post game.
what's that?
Sure.
And pre and post game. I want to hear sports talk. The game's over. Well, it's Flyers fourth period. I don't even know if that's what it's called, but that's what they would call it
They
because it's
would,
always
yeah.
something
And then you
stupid.
have to hear about injuries from for some guys that are, he's right. Like that's awful. That's awful.
Yeah.
Even sometimes when the Philly, well, they've been good for a long time, but I was there when they were bad, and we had to hear that shit all night.
So
Even when they're good, sometimes I don't feel like listening to the game. I
Right.
don't, I just want to go out to the store and hear somebody talk about sports, whatever.
Just for 10 minutes. Exactly. You don't want to
C-
hear that.
Because baseball, a lot of these sports, it's not like football where it's one play every 40 seconds. I mean, I don't know how a hockey broadcaster does play by play on the radio. I mean, it's a nightmare. It's got, you're trying to describe what's happening when it's just a big mess on the ice
It's a
of pucks.
mess,
Yeah.
right.
you know.
I
So
don't
Joe,
want to hear that.
let me ask you this. Why does WIP do it so much better than 97.5 for the Fanatic? Because if you remember, for a little bit, Mike had the number one show.
It went in little ebbs and flows. It's kind of the people. I think it's the people. I think they like their tandems. I think they paired up and they landed some good pairings.
Mhm.
It comes down, it doesn't always come down to just talent. Like you can't always equate it to like teams that we watch and we analyze. I think they have good pairings that work. You'll know when two people have a chemistry and they can bring people in. And John Ritchie's the former player, but he's kind of mellow, but he's smart as shit.
Hmm.
Cameron's smart off the charts.
Oh,
And
he's right.
they have a good thing going. Ike Reese was a player, kind of
Hmm.
settled into his own. Remember, he was a little rough at the beginning. Hugh Douglas, a former player. I watched Hugh really take some lumps when he was, but that was self-inflicted. When he got serious about his job and everything, and kind of let you into some of the things that other teams did, his former
Sure.
teammates did. When he started revealing some shit, it worked. And there's Brian Westbrook was at 97.5, but he was in Maryland doing like in his basement doing a thing with us. It sounded like he was with us, but they never really invested too much into having a player in each of those slots and then a real broadcaster to kind of entertain and kind of be the quarterback and everything. And I think some of their pairings, they worked and they did. And the numbers reflect that.
And just because you're an ex-player, a lot of people don't get this, but it's a different job.
It's a different
Like,
job.
and it's one of the reasons I have really come to love Ike. He worked at it. If
Worked
you
at
Yeah.
it.
listen to those original shows with him and Howard, he was raw,
You
but
worked
Right.
you could
at it.
tell
You
he
have to
worked
work
at
at
it.
it.
And
Sure.
I have a lot of respect for that.
It's funny too because I remember Comcast Sportsnet did a piece where former NFL players went to, I think it was Jersey, the NFL, and where they took a class for media.
Mhm.
And Ike was one of them and was like, he was interviewed about it. And it was like, damn, he's pretty good. And sure enough.
Well, you have to work at it. Like I'm telling you, there was a guy, and I might even mention his name, who did put no effort into it. He would show up in his awesome suits. His wife laid out his suits, but he just thought he could show up and it reflected on the air. Like it really pissed off some of the actual broadcasters because they knew the score of the Phillies game that day. He was like regurgitating 2 days ago. It was embarrassing.
Right.
And he had some other issues when he left and he came back. He kind of got his head straight and
He's doing
gotta
well.
work like anything. You got to work at it. It's a new job. It's a
Right.
new profession. He was
Right now,
great at
it's a
football. Now you got a new job.
Yeah.
You're not as good as his intern over there. No matter if you're like 6 times his size, you have to work at it.
right now. Is it a great base and foundation that you played? Yes, great starting point.
Great start.
Great. But you still have to be able to speak properly,
Yep.
as I miss. Yeah, right. It's a different job, and there's guys on ESPN. You see NFL Network, like in the morning show, they try and rotate guys in. I'm sure that's all just practice for a lot of those guys. They're seeing if this works. Does it work?
And
But
a lot of them are pretty. I mean, it is, and a lot of
some
them
of them are really good.
really
Right.
good. They put the effort into it.
But then you look at, and if you guys, I'll open up the floor to you guys. Someone explain to me how Kendrick Perkins is on ESPN. He can't speak at all. no one gives a rat's ass about his playing career. Fine, you played in the NBA, great. It's every time. Oh God, I
because
can't
he
stand.
said because he's exactly.
Do you like
he
him?
not really. I mean, he just again.
Wait, when you said exactly, what did you mean? Exactly what?
Well, I think number one, because there's some people that just can't stand him and they, still tune in to hear what else he's got to say.
What I mean,
But
is
there's
it
been a couple of
polarizing?
times that
To me, it's
he's
just,
come out and said things about players in the NBA that, kind of
so he's
made him
outspoken.
who he is. Yeah. So,
Doesn't do anything for me, to be
no,
honest.
I'm
I get
fine with
it.
that. I just can't. You
You're always going to have those some guys that do it really really well, and some guys where you're going to be like, why are you doing this?
Some people, I
Um,
mean, yeah, I don't necessarily. He doesn't do anything for me either way. They
no,
have some
that's
good
kind of.
people on that show. Like there's some former executive, like Lou Riddick, I think is great.
all right.
I'm a Riddick fan.
All
I mean,
right, he knows his stuff. He knows what he's doing, and not
I
afraid
think
to voice
it's
his opinion. Dan
right.
Graziano seems like he knows what he's doing. I like Kimberly Martin. Like she seems to get the right information, and
Dan Orlovsky, I'm a fan of.
I like Dan Orlovsky. I like
Yeah,
when they
I don't
show him
mind
running
him.
out of bounds by 5 yards in the end zone.
That's what I'm always gonna. Sorry, Dan. That's what
I'm
I'm gonna
sorry, I
remember
need
you
to see
for.
that at least
Sorry.
like once a week because it just brings because they show his face and you can see he's a little embarrassed.
I really enjoy Devin Caney when she's on. I don't catch her in the morning on WIP, but I listen to her on
Saturday
yeah,
morning, she's on
yeah,
with
and she
Ruben.
is really really good. This
She's
show
my
is.
blue sky buddy.
I know, man. You got to get her on.
Got to get her on.
Well,
Yeah,
let's not be too aggressive. She could be like, "Yo, dude, blocked."
we didn't say anything negative. We just giving her
I do
props.
No, but
like
if I'm like, "Hey,
you
on
Hey,
our
hey, hey!
podcast,"
you know someone did you notice that these two
Like
guys
Sean.
were a team and they were like rocketing along and meteoric rise and blah 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 Mike and then one day one person decided to go do Get Up and the other never really heard from again.
I guess apparently, and they're not
Well,
friends
Mike,
anymore, right?
they were friends. Yeah, something. There was a rift there.
yeah,
And if you
Mike,
guys remember, there was a while. Staszak, you definitely do. Early on, 97.5 didn't have a morning show. They broadcast the national
Mm-hmm.
ESPN.
he's
Uh,
I
right.
used to love Mike and
Mike and
Mike
Mike.
in the morning.
I didn't. Here's why. Because I used to commute from North Jersey to Long Island for a crappy job, which made it even
That's
crappier.
rough, bro.
Yeah, it's terrible, brutal.
Yeah.
And I would listen to Mike, but I felt like they'd come back from a commercial and it was like, "Oh, Dolphins and Chargers last night." Yeah, okay. Well, when we come back, I'm like, "You just came back
Yeah,
from a
totally.
commercial."
Totally.
They
Yeah.
teased the break after they teased.
Yeah.
Oh my
They did.
Lord.
They
Like
did
I
Or
work.
felt
Jets,
like
Jets, Jets, Jets. I'm a Jets fan, right? Jets.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Well,
helped him he came into Rag and Bone the one time with his family.
which one?
Uh,
Mike Greenberg?
yeah.
I like him. I think he's good on the air. I
Yeah.
think
I like
I
him.
like him. Yeah.
It was funny. He bought a
but Mike,
scarf.
what's he? Mike, the other guy played for the
Golick.
Eagles.
Golick.
Liked him as a person. I went up to him the first day I was asked to get an interview. They lost. They blew like a 15-point lead with like 4 seconds left, something ridiculous. And Mike always he has that resting bitch face. So I'm like, and I'm like 21. I'm gonna get F right here. He was the nicest guy you will ever meet.
Hmm.
Mike
If you
Golick.
remember, there was rumors that he was in line for the WIP show before the camera.
Yeah. Yes, I did hear that. So
Mm-hmm.
last time I checked, he was doing like color for like Texas A&M or like
And his son is doing stuff
yeah,
now.
his
Sure.
son's doing stuff. Well,
Uh-huh.
his son then kind of latched on and was doing some ESPN stuff,
Right.
and now I haven't heard from him since. Like, I
Sure.
don't know what they're doing, but that was a that was a crash and burn. But and they were not. He was not happy with Mike Greenberg because Greenberg knew
Mhm.
about it and didn't tell him or something. It was one
Something
of those.
along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
along those
Golick would
lines.
have been a star if he had latched on it like a WIP.
Right. He would have been a total star. Total
Yeah.
star. All right, NHL finals tonight. Start begin tonight. Connor McDavid against Le Florida. Sean, we're going to go to you. Who do you like in this series?
I'm going Oilers in 7.
Oilers in 7. They start in Edmonton, so that would be they would win the cup in Edmonton. What do you got, Micah?
You want me to just make something up? I mean, that's what we're doing here, right?
Yes.
I'm rooting for McDavid. I'm rooting for
Same.
McDavid. I did not. I tried to get into both conference finals series. It was really tough to
It was
watch.
bad. It was bad to watch.
The same for basketball. I have the same hopes for the NBA finals that I'll have for the cup. I want to get in. The cup starts tonight. That's tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. I want to get into it. And if I can get into game one, because honestly, you really that is the cool thing about playoffs not that aren't football. When you have these series, if you can start to get into it and you see some of the storylines, you can totally get into a series when your team isn't even remotely relevant.
Totally get
Um,
into it.
and then all of a sudden you're looking forward to the next couple games. So I'm gonna try. I'm going to, but I am rooting for McDavid after what happened to them last year. They were down 3-0, tied it at 3-3, and then lost.
Yeah.
That should be illegal.
Florida's kind of like the Celtics were. They'll cruise along and 7 wins versus a loss, and then it'll disappear. I'm not talking about this year's Celtics, the Celtics leading up to their championship.
Mhm.
And they did that. They disappeared in those 3 games, and they finally got it together for game 7. They won 2-1. I think they're that kind of team. They can turn that switch, but you don't want to take it down to the wire. But I think they are the better team. It's their third straight trip to the Stanley Cup Finals. Not an easy thing to do. Tampa Bay did it. They won a cup out of it, 2 cups out of it with Vasilevsky. Bobrovsky's now the Vasilevsky of today's goaltending. Former Flyer. They have him. They have a star in Keith Kachuk. I'm sorry, Keith's son Kachuk. What's his name? Matthew Kachuk. And I think their coach is a stud. And I think their team is. They're not the Devils, but they have kind of that team that just when they turn it on, they have a lot of very good players that can have some goal scoring ability. Forecheck, they make the right play every time. And you have Edmonton to kind of they have the Draisaitl and the Connor McDavid. I mean, any team will take those 2 superstars, but they don't always show up necessarily. McDavid's starting to play and starting to score, but those 2 guys should be ringing it home. But not there's their chance, their opportunity. McDavid was the Conn Smythe winner last year, MVP. It rarely happens with a member of a losing team wins that award. Happened twice for the Flyers. Ron Hextall, Reggie Leach, both say number 27. But they have a chance to. They have a chance right now in the 7-game series to start from scratch. I still like Florida, but let's talk about basketball because the big story is Tom Thibodeau getting whacked. They didn't take time to think about it. This wasn't one. Let's reflect a couple. Boom, they lose. He's out. What'd you think about that, Micah?
He was probably fired 2 months ago, and they were
Probably
just
was
waiting for them
fired.
to lose.
Let the Jay Wright song
Somebody's got to
begin.
take the blame. I don't. It was certainly not a perfect roster. I love Brunson. Cat just wasn't doing it for me. He looks like he runs on his heels. He looks slow, and he's supposed to be one of the premier big guys in the league.
Would you trade him straight up for Embiid?
Yes. Um, that's not a talent thing. That's a I don't know what Embiid's ever going to be again due to injuries.
But I agree with you.
I
I would
totally
do
agree
it
with that
too.
question. What are we looking at next year? Well, anyway,
Right.
we'll stick to this, but um, I can see look, 5 years they became a relevant team. But looking forward to next year, from the way the game ended on Sunday or whatever it was, I would say, yeah, that game 1 really hurt them. Not only that, they lost game 2 at home too after the shot. So they were never, to
I
me, they were
thought that
never,
was game one.
the game 1 was this, but they
Yes.
also lost game 2 at home. They were down 2-0.
Right, but the game one is the one that hurts. And I remember
That's
watching
the one
that
that
game
hurts.
in the Garage Mahal over the weekend.
We weren't there.
And all I kept thinking was, man, game one really stings right now, doesn't
That
it?
stings. That stings so bad. Losing that game, they still, I think, could have recovered, but then they lose game 2. And okay, I never thought they were really in the series. I don't think it's a Thibodeau problem. They gave up
Somebody had
5.
to take the fall, Joe.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So what do you do going forward? Is it a construction thing? Like they gave up 5 number ones for Mikal Bridges. Brunson's obviously a star, but what are they missing in New York? Because they finally got kind of close. It's been since like what 73 since they really won
Well, you
anything.
go back to Willis Reed?
Right, that's what I'm talking about. The same with Indiana. I mean, they haven't won anything.
No,
So
but they used to own the Sixers for years until 2001.
they
Um,
did.
the
Jalen
Knicks
Rose,
defense, I think all the credit goes to Bridges, and he deserves it. He's an incredible defender. But some of their transition defense, I was like, is anybody getting back? Or are we just gonna?
terrible, terrible.
So the rumors out there that Jay Wright wants nothing to do with the Knicks.
I wouldn't think he wants anything to do with anybody. Like
The NBA, he doesn't want anything to do with. He
Right.
doesn't want anything to do with college. He smelled the
How
NIL
much?
coming a
No,
mile
no,
away and was
long
like,
time.
"Gonzo."
How much money do you think it would take for him to change his mind?
You can't.
I don't think he
He wouldn't be
cares.
happy. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It's not going to change.
Okay.
Like, okay, back up $30 billion. I don't think that's going to do anything except make a couple news cycles for him. I don't think it's going to change, the tailor he uses in Newtown Square or where he lives off of Aronimink.
Right.
Leaving Villanova when he had opportunity would just mean, okay, I'm going to take a job where I'm going to get fired. You leave that whole thing. That was his
Bubble.
Sure.
wonderland.
Yeah.
Wonderland. So like we were talking about earlier, when you leave like Bill, who was part-time, now he's got a gun. Now he's on the firing line. Now he's got a full-time job at the real show. Talk to me in like, 2 years when he's looking for a job. You know what I
And
mean?
I don't think it's worth it for an NBA team to go get Jay Wright. He's never, it's a different ball game. That's
Different
why
ball
he
game.
left Nova because college was becoming that different ball game. It wasn't the way that he did
Right.
things. The NBA, you're probably the lowest paid player on the team.
Right.
These
Right.
guys are making 3 times what you're making, and
They're
they're
laughing
gonna
at
listen to
you.
you.
NBA's getting young though, Micah. NBA's getting young.
Okay, fine. The point's the same. That there, you're if LeBron wants a coaching change, it's happening.
Sure.
The
LeBron
players
runs
run
his-
the show in the NBA, and Jay Wright's never proven anything at the NBA level. So what are you going to do? Give him $15 million a year to come do something he's never done? It's a recipe for
And
disaster.
would it make a difference with the same players? I mean, I know he had some magic at Nova, but that's different. You're playing against college kids. These guys are playing against you know, these guys are playing against NBA players with the roster days. Good roster, but I think they're a little short. And it wasn't because they gave away Dante DiVincenzo. So I think it's a roster problem more than a Thibodeau problem, or is it both? Am I missing something?
I think the NBA is mostly roster. I mean,
Hmm. Agreed.
if you think about it, if you bring in Saquon Barkley, he's 1/11th of your offense, which is out there roughly half the time. An NBA player is 20% of your offense and defense every time they're out there.
Every time they're out
They
there.
have so much impact on those games. And I'm not saying coaching is not important, but I mean, I remember a friend of mine had met Eric Spoelstra after the Heat had won a couple, and he was like, "Hey, congratulations on winning or whatever." And he goes, and Spoelstra just kind of looked at me and goes, "Sometimes you get lucky." Like acknowledge, and I think Spoelstra's an excellent coach, but he was kind of saying, "I got LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh on the
It
team.
helps.
Good start." You know,
Mhm.
is Tyronn Lue a great coach?
No.
No.
I
No.
mean,
And a great coach. I don't care. Put Vince
He's still
Lombardi
with the
on.
Clippers, right? He's still
Put
with the
Vince
Clippers.
Lombardi. Have him coach the Jets next year, and tell me how many wins they have.
that's
I
what I
totally
mean.
forgot
Well,
about
look at the
Tyronn
MVP and look at that team who has never won anything. SGA. Is he the most undynamic superstar? Like he's good, he's solid, and he's clean. He hits mid-range jumpers, and he's what's his name? Call him a free throw merchant. I love when he calls him a free throw merchant.
I didn't know how good he was until the playoffs this year.
But
I mean,
he's
I'm not
good. But
an.
he's good. Is he the guy though? Is he the guy that? Oh my God, he's the next
I
Curry. He's the next
don't. We
LeBron.
see. Here we go. We're going down that rabbit hole.
Well, I'm just
The
saying,
next
like
face of the NBA. Why do we need it?
he's the only.
Like,
He's
why do
only
we need it, Joe?
I don't say we need it, but forget
They
about the
don't.
face. Is he like going to be the guy to carry Oklahoma City to a championship?
Probably. I mean, do you
It's
see?
like, do you think there's room in anyone's life to watch Anthony Edwards do that at some point for Minnesota? I don't like what I've seen out of him. I think he's
I
an
think he's
incredibly
capable of
undynamic
doing it, though.
superstar.
I
Never
think he's
called him a
capable.
And
superstar.
I'm fine with that. I mean, yeah, that's fine. I mean, LeBrons and Jordans don't come along very often.
Okay,
Sure.
that's fine. All right, good. No, I
I
agree.
just, I don't. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to have every year to have somebody different winning the title, unless it's my team.
All right, well, let's do this. Go ahead, Pacers, Oklahoma. You're on the spot. What do you got?
I think it's going to be the Pacers in 5.
You up top.
Wow, that's
Mhm.
a hot take, Sean.
No, wait. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I think the Thunder
I
are
thought I
going
think
to win in
I
We're
think
5.
still talking about
I'm
hockey,
sorry.
Sean.
Jesus.
We're
Oh
still
my
talking-
God.
we're still talking about the Warriors.
Clearly, I need a new face.
Actually, I do like the
I actually like the take because you know what? Now I swear to God, Sean, I swear to God, if the Pacers win it in 5, you are not going back and coming on this freaking show and being like, "Remember, I called
I
it."
knew he made. I could see on his
No,
face he
no,
made a
no.
mistake.
I
No,
would do.
wait,
I
wait.
would. I would do
was
something
wait a
like that.
minute, what?
I would
Uh,
do it, but
What do you like?
I-
What do you like up top there, Micah?
I'm kind of rooting for Oklahoma City.
What do you think?
Maybe maybe it's because they were the Sonics, and I used to be a huge Sonics fan.
Mm.
I like the Sonics.
Um, and God, I think the Thunder win it, but I am very excited to see. I don't know.
I
I'm
like the
very
Pacers.
excited
I
to
like the
see.
Pacers in 6. All right, Pacers in 6.
Is that what you're taking?
I'm not even doubting it. Yes, Pacers in
Really?
6.
Wow.
Wow. I jacked it up. I thought without a doubt the Thunder are just going to run away with it.
I can't do 5 though because these series you watch a team like, oh my God, they won by 42, and next thing you know, the other team wins by like 38 the next game. It's like
Yeah.
no fun to watch.
So
Wow.
Staszak's saying take a second mortgage on your home
Yes.
for the Pacers in 6. That's brought to you by FanDuel and DraftKings and BetMGM Grand.
It's so funny. He's going to bet on the Pacers, but he won't bet on this show. Okay.
Good stuff.
Oh, that's crazy.
Have
Hey,
we-
can I give you some on this day? Because,
Yeah, give us on this day.
All right. So speaking of the NBA, in 1947, all right,
Sonny Hertzberger.
no. On this day, in June 4th, the Philadelphia Warriors, before they became the Golden State Warriors, won the NBA's first ever championship, led by rookie Joe Folks. What record did he hold for a decade?
First guy to win an NBA championship.
Yes,
I think it.
in Philly.
Single season scoring record of 63 points.
He averaged 63.
No, he had in a single game 63
Oh.
points, and he held that
Because
record
back
for a
then, I
decade.
would believe it.
Yeah,
Didn't
right.
Didn't Willie Burton do something like that?
He had 50.
Willie
I
Burton
think
had
he
50?
was. You know what? I think I have to look this up, but I think he was the last Sixer to have 50 before Iverson.
You
Because
might
that was
be
in
right.
like 95.
Well, there was what was it? But Dana Barrows.
Dana Barrows had a big one.
He had a big one. Embiid had 70 like 2 years ago. But is he still with the team, Embiid? Like, what's going to happen next year with the Sixers?
Willie Burton is gone.
Lloyd Burton's done.
Yeah.
Dana Barrows gone. BC
Yeah.
guy, right? BC. I think Dana Barrows is BC. You're Boston, right?
Boston University, thank you. I don't care what they do up the street, out the E line,
Who do you play for?
or the B line.
Here we go again. All right. In 1951, Gus Bell hits for the cycle against the Phillies. Pirates outfielder Gus Bell hit for a cycle, leading the Pittsburgh Pirates to a 12-4 victory over the Phillies. Here's a fun fact. His grandson hit a cycle for the Phillies.
David
Bell?
David Bell.
Yes. Do you know what year?
Yeah, 92.
No, 2004. Way
David
off.
Bell?
David Bell,
So
2004.
wait, we had Juan Bell. Wasn't Jay Bell a Pirate? Or am I thinking of
Jay Bell was a Pirate, but I think Jay Bell did play for the Phillies, if I remember.
We always had the wrong one.
Right.
had the wrong
We had Joe
Jeremy
DiMaggio's brother.
And like Phil Howard Chuck instead of Dale Howard Chuck.
Here's a good one for you. In 1964, Sandy Koufax no hits the Philadelphia Phillies. He threw his third career no-hitter, shutting down the Phillies 3-0.
And now look at him. He's
Is that
no
a
good.
question?
Now look at him.
Yeah.
What's the question?
There was no question to that one.
He's just giving us he's just giving
These are
us
just song
talking
these
points.
days.
Talking
But then
points.
here's one for you, Joe. You know what happened today in 1990 with Penn State?
What's the month? Is it June 4th? Penn
Yes.
State, 1990?
Yes, 1990.
Blair Thomas set a practice record.
It did something corrupt. I don't know. Probably,
Corrupt.
yeah.
Wow.
We used
I mean,
Joe Paterno, Sandusky.
no.
Wasn't a
No,
Sandusky.
I was gonna
He's
go
dirty.
real. I was
Sandusky's
gonna
dirty.
go real dirty, but
He's
no,
dirty.
no. Of course he was. But all right, you're not guessing it. I thought you would get it. So they joined the Big Ten in 1990.
That's good.
They were an independent, right?
They were an independent, like Notre Dame.
No, Notre Dame, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, quick question before we leave, and if people have already stopped listening, who cares?
We're
Does
going.
anyone remember the last Notre Dame football player drafted #1 overall?
Oh, here we go.
Gonna be a lot of silence because you ain't guessing it.
Did you know who I was kind of dating a few months ago?
The #1 overall draft pick of the
Quarterback for
Buffalo
Notre
Bills.
Dame, non-Catholic quarterback sister. The Jewish kid. The Jewish quarterback for Notre Dame? No, you don't.
Tony Rice's sister? Or...
Yeah, did Tony Rice look Jewish to you?
You never know. I don't know.
Hey, Ron Carew converted.
Yep.
Gus Ornstein. Anyway, number one overall, Notre Dame. That's going to be the last football player.
It was 1972. His name was Walt Patulski.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't get that
You
one.
have no idea how many chicks just are calling me. My phone's blowing up right now.
That's pretty good.
I was
If
about
I,
to
if
say
I was a
Rudy
chick and you got
Gellinger.
Walt Parkowski, I'd be pretty
Walt
impressed.
Patulski, yeah.
I
Yeah,
thought it was
pretty.
going to be Rudy.
Hey, good stuff. By the no, I'll get that later. We'll get that take later. All right, good stuff. Anything else, fellas? We got to run. We've been on.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, we got a new Instagram.
Oh, okay,
We got
tell
a
us
new
about the
Instagram.
Instagram.
Someone apparently we don't even have the Philly Pulse isn't even available anymore. So
Look it.
our new Instagram is the Philly Pulse Sports Beat. So make sure
Okay.
that you follow us.
You
You're gonna
sure
get some
we
nice
weren't
little clips
available?
on here.
And you can
Yes,
find me on
sure.
Blue Sky if anyone wants to go.
Blue skies ahead right there, baby. All right, from Michael Warren, Sean Lochner, we got to go. The show's starting to smell a little bit like that
Yeah.
Lemon Kogi. All right, good stuff, fellas. We'll
All
catch you
right.
next time.
Peace out,
Appreciate it.
guys.
Peace.
See you next time.
See you.